Hi, everyone. Ed Bixby here from the Global Green Burial Alliance with my co-host Gretchen Spletzer, and this is Spotlight Now.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Spotlight. And today we are interviewing Michael Marie, and she is a basket weaver and artisan living in Dexter, Michigan. She makes really beautiful funerary baskets, basket trays, and caskets, and little, looks like carrying urns. So we're here to talk to her about what she does. The name of her business is Hickory Nut Farmstead, and you can find her at hickorynutfarmstead.com. And I'm going to be showing you some pictures so you'll see her website, which is really beautiful. So, welcome, Michael.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's so good to be here.
Yeah,
Great
it's
to
nice
talk
to
to you
meet
guys
you.
and meet you.
And I can see the caskets right behind you and some of the
Yeah.
materials, which is awesome. So, tell us about what you do, a little bit how you got started, and we'll just get into this. I'm going to have a lot of questions, so excited to
Yeah.
talk about it.
I'm excited to talk to you guys too. I got into this a little bit haphazardly. I was touring natural burial grounds with a family member a couple years ago. And at one of these cemeteries, we were shown different casket options, and I fell absolutely in love with this woven willow basket. And just love the idea of being able to weave one of these for my family member. And just, I had no experience with basketry. Nobody I know weaves baskets, but I was in a place in my life where I really loved getting to know plants and growing plants, and just kind of started with learning how to weave, and eventually got to work with a really wonderful funerary artisan last year and learned to weave coffins, urns, and burial trays.
Wow. Yeah, they're really, really pretty. I'm going to share the screen right now because I'm excited to show, because we're looking at them behind you and the materials.
Yeah.
Um,
Wow, that's wonderful, Michael. So, where do you receive the products that you use? Are they locally
Um,
grown to you, or?
Yep, yes. We grow about, I have 2,000 plants right now that I grow, mostly willow. Willow is my absolute favorite. I also work with problematic invasive species that I harvest from public land in restoration efforts. So we're removing things that are invasive to make room for native plants. And then we dry everything completely, make sure everything is completely dead. It dries for a full year. And work with that too. So a little bit of mixed
Wow.
materials, but everything is from here. The rope that I use for handles is upcycled dock rope that I wash, and it's
mhm.
used, and local pine too for the baseboards. Yeah.
Yeah, they're really
Wow.
pretty. Are you two seeing them? Is the screen share
Yeah.
coming out
Oh
good?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, absolutely, yeah, no, very, very beautiful, and I can see that it looks to me like it's all natural colors as well. Is that? Do you do anything outside of that, or is it typically natural?
All natural colors. It's really amazing how just even within the same species, the colors can vary a little bit based on the specific willow variety. So
Yeah,
it
I
allows for
really
a lot
love
of
them.
variation.
I love how you weave the rope through the whole thing and then make the handles out of it. And the
Yeah.
pine inlay on the lid, it's just beautiful. And I was just reading through your great website, and I noticed you use the word reverently. And I can imagine when you're getting into your artwork, you know, it's just that you and that working, and those reverent thoughts that come through, or
Yeah.
nothing, just presence and peace. Just
Yeah.
what artists do. It's just the tray is my favorite. It just looks like a cradle almost. It's really beautiful.
It is very reminiscent of a cradle, and I actually practice making cradles too in order to make the trays. It's nice to do things on the smaller scale before you use the big baskets. Yeah.
Yeah. So you start, I imagine, with, because I've seen pictures of other basket weavers online and
Mhm.
stuff. They start with like a bottom and a skeleton almost, right? And then they
Yeah,
go
yeah.
around, huh?
Exactly, exactly. It's really amazing. It's only a few simple weaves that are just kind of varied, and you can just take these few simple techniques and build it up into really amazing structures with endless variety. So it makes for a lot of personalization too. We did a tray for somebody earlier this summer that The man that had passed away really loved to canoe, and so we made it come up on either side almost like a boat, and that's what their family wanted to do, and they wove plants into it too, so it was really
Oh
special.
my God. Do you have pictures of that? That
Wow.
must have been beautiful.
I do, but not on here.
Oh,
I can send some
Well,
to you later.
absolutely.
yeah.
We'd love to share that. How are you being received with, within your local community and the providers that you're dealing with? Are they excited about your products?
Yeah, definitely. We're kind of in an odd state. We are one of only a handful of states that has a lot of restrictions as far as for people caring for their own dead. And I think related to that, maybe a lot of people that we encounter, well, I would say like 9 out of 10 people when I set up at expos or environmental fairs or gatherings are completely unaware that green burial is legal. They think that
Right.
that is not allowed at all. So that makes it a little bit slow going, but working with people in the community that, are in death work and are familiar with this, it's been really well received. So
Oh, I'm
yeah.
sure when people see your caskets, I mean, when people see caskets like that, they want that because
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
just so beautiful and precious. Yeah, I'm
Absolutely.
at the conventions and stuff that I've been to when we had just, one of the passages, uh, caskets behind us or something. The Everybody loved seeing the natural casket and wanted to be buried
yeah.
in it. And we had a little demo one too, which was nice for the table.
We did that
Ab-
too at a recent festival. I did a community weaving, and we had over 1,300 attendees. And it was really meaningful for people. People got to come in and get involved in the weaving of a larger basket.
Oh yeah.
So that was and we're finding similarly with that, it's a really good educational method too. There's something about being able to craft that makes these concepts less scary to people, like death and dying. If you can get your hands on something, there's something more approachable about discussing natural burial, about discussing home funerals. So that's been
Yes.
good too.
And
yeah,
I was reading on your website also that the practice of doing that helps the process of grief, which
Definitely.
we talk about a lot. The doing of getting your loved one cared for through the transition,
Yeah.
is helps the grief process so much.
Yeah.
absolutely. Michael, let me ask you this question out of
Mhm.
curiosity, and I'm sure the viewer would like to know. So, I deal with this on a daily basis at my properties, and there's not a lot of time, but there is sufficient time when someone passes, to be able to prepare things correctly. How long does it take, for instance, for you to maybe make a custom product for a family, if that's even possible?
Yeah, that is probably the most common question that I get. I do try to keep a couple baskets on hand for when people are unable to pre-plan. Um, I have made one in as little as 48 hours. When I got word that somebody was in the ICU and they had need of a basket, and not only a basket, but a basket they could have a really heavy hand in being involved in the weaving. Ideally, it's a little bit longer than that. I can't always turn around 48 hours, but yeah, yeah,
Well, but that's really interesting to know because I think a lot of people think about that. And that's why it's important to prearrange. And in particular, when people are actively in stages of death and dying, they can make these decisions while they're still living, which really makes
yes,
them feel really great. And it gives you the
yes,
adequate time to get it done. So kudos to you for 48 hours. That's pretty unbelievable.
yeah.
That's a great job.
And I've woven
Yes.
them for people who plan way in advance too. I had a woman come out, really wonderful woman come out earlier this summer. And she's using hers as a bookshelf currently. So they can be used as
Oh
bookshelves,
yeah.
as blanket chests. I've even seen them as coffee tables. I've been talking to someone who wanted to use hers. She's an herbalist and she wanted to make a very big burial tray that she could use to dry herbs. So it can be versatile.
Oh
And then
yeah.
I'm
That's
talking with somebody else who I'm holding on to her baskets if we eventually weave together. And I'm going to use those for educational purposes if she's okay with it so I'll keep it here. I'll use it for home funeral workshops or other types of
yeah.
educational programming until she has need of it.
Oh, that's
That's
great. You do home funeral workshops too.
Just
Yeah.
getting into that, working alongside death doulas, since I don't
Yeah.
do home funerals myself, but I have a lot of colleagues who do. So it's nice to be
Yeah.
able to have the basket and it makes it more meaningful as part of
And to
a,
be
a
yeah,
workshop. Yeah.
yeah, and be part of their education wherever they're getting taught or who they're getting taught from too as well.
Yes,
Because I
yes,
know
exactly.
when I went, they had different people come in and talk to us about green burial and different things.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Y-
Um,
You know what would,
well,
oh, I'm sorry.
go ahead.
No,
No,
what
you go,
I
Ed.
wanted to I wanted to ask Michael, because I'm sitting here thinking about this and I think of prearrangement all the time because that's the most important, gift that someone can give to their family, to make these
Right.
arrangements. And with you, with a particular product you just mentioned, it can be versatile. They can make it into a bookshelf or
Mhm.
a blanket basket. But out of curiosity, and I think the viewers would like to know this, because if they are able to purchase this in advance, what necessary things would need to be done to ensure, let's say, shelf life? Like, what type of environment should you keep a product like this in if you are prearranging and might have it for, let's say, 5 to 10 years? Is there problems with humidity and things like that, or is it just bringing it into the house and that should typically be enough?
In the house is pretty much enough. Here in Michigan, we don't have really high humidity. That may be different in another state that has really high humidity problems. But yeah, here these baskets, other baskets that I weave just for conventional use, last longer than an individual's lifetime. They become heirlooms that are traded down. So are very
Wow,
sturdy. I haven't had any kind of issues with insects or humidity or anything like that. So yeah.
that,
Uh,
that's
when
really good to
when
know.
when you say heirloom handed downs, are you saying like, oh, probably just the
Traditional
baskets, not the
baskets,
caskets?
harvesting baskets. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
just thinking though, it made
Right.
me think, because my next question or idea that was coming was how pretty a home quilt or, the shrouded
Yeah.
person inside of there. But really, you could put the shrouded person in the burial hole and
Mhm,
then just keep the basket in the family
mhm.
for burials because it
Yeah, I'm
is
not
so,
sure. I've
I
wondered
mean, that's
about
just
that.
my, yeah. I mean,
Apparently,
this
they
is so
used to do
early.
that quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and the funeral homes do that. So they
Mm,
rent them
Yeah,
out. So,
yeah,
yeah.
it would be a possibility.
mhm.
Well, it's really, really interesting. So, Michael, can what is your region? I mean, what's your capabilities for the viewers if someone's watching this and let's say, for instance, they live in California? Is it possible for them to purchase a product from you, or do you stay within a certain mile zone of where your residence is?
Yeah, I stay within my region. The idea is restoring this to being a local craft, and so there are different funerary artisans who weave baskets throughout the country, a growing number, still only a handful. Um,
Mhm.
California, there was a weaver out there until recently. I think she just moved to Canada. But when I get requests like that, and I have gotten some, I refer them to a weaver near them. So
Mm.
some of those are listed on the Funerary Artisans Collective, which is a really wonderful website. And there's some weavers who aren't listed on there yet who are getting into this that I've referred people to also.
That's
So
great.
yeah.
No, that's great.
Yes, I want to get into that
Mhm.
collective soon. There's a lot of good stuff in there, but um, I thank you for coming on today. I don't want to keep you too long because I know you got a sick little one at home, but
Mhm.
um, Ed, I'm so glad you asked the practical questions. Thank you for that as well.
Not a problem. I'm sorry to our guests. I'm on the run, but I'm always on the run. Now, this has really been wonderful because Michael, you're opening up the eyes. I love the idea of that of the funerary artisans and you guys working together. I think that's so critically important.
Hmm.
And to see this being done here in the United States, opposed to having to bring some of these products from foreign countries,
Yeah.
is even better because it allows our economy to be blessed by some of the good work you're doing. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. It was wonderful talking to you both.
Yes, and when we post this video on YouTube and our social media, we'll put I know you're on Facebook, and we'll also put your website so people can find you. And, um, are you open to people asking just questions about weaving too? I know you
Yes,
teach
of
it, so
course.
there might get some interest in that. So, all right, well, you
Definitely.
have a,
Well, before you go, hold on one
Mhm.
second, Gretchen. I just had a really interesting thought. And Michael, you don't have to commit, but maybe
Mhm.
sometime in the future, we're all about education here at the Global Green Burial Alliance.
Mhm.
Consider, please consider maybe holding a workshop, if you're willing, to introduce people to your craft. If you would ever be interested in doing that, we would love to host that here at the Global Green Burial Alliance, showing people what you do and
Yeah.
how it's done. I think that, you know, mentally people want to know these things, you know, in particular when they're considering it for themselves. So it would be, I think it would be great if you're interested.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like it could be fun. We can talk.
All
Thanks,
right.
Michael.
Well,
Appreciate that.
so thanks again. And this is Spotlight, and we will be back in a week or so when we get another person to interview. If anybody's interested in sharing what they're doing in the sustainable funeral world, please reach out. And thank you again, Michael. And happy Halloween, everybody. And we'll see
Yeah.
you, yeah, see you next
See you
time.
next time. See you, Michael.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you
Bye-bye.
later.